Thank you very much. I'd actually rather use this title, Support Creators, Empower Decision Makers, AI in Sustainability Reporting, than the one that we showed before. So, as just been said, I've been doing sustainability reporting for 15 years now, and I am assuming that we don't have a lot of ESG reporting experts here. If there are, then we can have a very nice discussion afterwards. But basically, I'm going to look into several issues with sustainability reporting, the main one being why sustainability reporting at all. I do assume that some of you that work within companies are data providers because you work in production, you work on products, and let's say once a year or twice a year, somebody comes up to you and says, we need this and this data from you by that date. Let's get cracking, do it. And then either you're set up to do it or you're not set up to do it. I'll have some practical insights into how a report is actually created. And then the main focus, the use case for report creators, but also what we didn't talk about yet, who's actually using reports. And the answer will probably not surprise you, given the title, AI, but we have some valuable insights in there. And then maybe if you're not the expert on ESG reporting, but maybe within your company you're going to talk to somebody that is, some takeaways that you can take with you in the end. So Forvis Mazar is the 8th largest auditing and tax consulting company in Germany. We have a lot of experience in validating and assuring company data, mainly obviously financial data, but within the last, let's say, 5 years, also ESG data became more and more important to be verified, valid, and so that decisions can be made regarding ESG topics. We are active globally in 54 countries. We provide sustainability services. In Germany, we have 100 plus experts, and I myself have 15, but other experts have 20 years of ESG expertise within the company. And as you can see, we have some clients. All of them are involved with some type of plastics or rubber and have to deal with that in their value chain. I myself focus on ESG reporting. So why sustainability reports at all? We've been moving, let's say, for 20 years, probably between market and compliance. And it is rotating again at the moment. So we have, in the 90s, there was environmental reporting mandatory in Germany for producing plants. And then in the 2010s, there was sustainability reporting of mainly big companies, voluntary reporting, and since 2015, 2016, there has been a compliance push. There's a lot of EU legislation. Why do you have to report? What do you have to report? And obviously, there's also an auditing aspect to it, so everything is valid. And it keeps cycling and cycling and cycling, and at the moment, the EU legislation is being toned down again. So now, again, the market is pushing up again, and there's a lot of B2B customers, a lot of B2B opportunities that basically also say, look, we need valid data in order to satisfy our stakeholder needs, information needs on ESG. But my personal opinion is why sustainability reports at all? Sustainability report is the only vehicle within a company that actually, or it's the best vehicle within the company that affects change. Because if taken seriously, sustainability reporting raises uncomfortable questions. At some point within the reporting process, somebody's going to read the report and ask, why? Why are we doing something a certain way? Why are we not doing something a certain way? And can't we change something about it? And usually that's on the C-level at some point, within the end of the whole process, somebody's going to say, okay, we have to do this differently next year. And then not only a reporting process starts, but a managing process starts. So somebody's going to have to make a decision. Are we going to invest? How are we going to invest into change? And then, if we're lucky, next year, we can report on success, on change, on progression. So for me personally, and that's why I've been doing this for so long, it is always an uphill battle within the company, but it is always a driver for change. And there's always something new and something happening. So we look into the key steps on sustainability reporting. So you start with a concept or an ambition. Somebody on the C-level usually comes up and says, okay, this company has a sustainability report. Why don't we? Let's get cracking. Let's get going. Let's have one. And then you have to find the project manager, the setup, who is doing what. You have to see which systems are we actually using to collect data. Then you have to decide who is going to input the data, empower them, and then actually collect the data. And in the end, you then create a report. In the end, if you have all that together, that's when you write and you lay out and then you publish. And there's a lot of use cases, even using let's say, publicly available AI models, large language models, Gen AI, for all those process steps. And there's a good reason for using them, but also AI doesn't solve all the problems. And the main problems are in the empowering and the onboarding of people within the company, and then in collecting the data. And Gen AI can't tell anybody to actually do something that is still a people's business. And collecting the data also is very much a thing of automation and not of AI. So ESG reporting is the internal corporate data octopus, Datenkrake, as we call it in Germany. So we go into all the specialist units and try to collect valid data in order to then make sense of it, to put it in a report, and to actually use the information for whatever purposes, be it internal, external stakeholders making decisions. Where does the data come from? So it's mainly databases, APIs, sensor-based recording, or just manual recording quite often. And then what happens with the data? It's validation, structuring, analysis, and communication. And one is very much based on automation, and one of them is based on AI-supported processing. And my advocacy always for using AI, it's not going to solve your problems in the top part. In the top part, it is use the right systems, but it's not mainly AI-based. It is people actually making sense of something, using sensors, etc. And then with that data, once you know we have the correct data, then you can start actually using it, validating it, structuring it, comparing it to other companies, comparing it to yourself 3 years ago, and then making the decisions, what do we actually want to change, what do we communicate. So that's the basics on sustainability reporting and using AI in sustainability reporting. We heard a lot about tools today, and there's a lot of, if you looked at LinkedIn, anywhere on the internet at the moment, there's a lot of promises of, I heard only yesterday, we're going to change, we're going to reduce your reporting efforts by 90%. And I say maybe the last part that I showed, but definitely not the first part. The first part is still very much a hands-on business. So now we're going to look at the user side of sustainability reporting and AI sustainability reporting. You'll be able to try that later on yourselves, but I just this week wrote a quick AI prompt, Copilot prompt, as you do as a user. Compare the energy performance indicators of Nike and Adidas for the year 2022. Any casual user might do that, with Copilot. Easy enough. So what you see here, I apologize, the images are in German, but basically what you see here, Copilot came up with a comparison, Nike and Adidas. Interesting that I said, please give me the energy data, and it gave me the emissions data straight away. So it made that leap of imagination. But also, if you look at Scope 3 emissions, it basically says for Nike, there are no Scope 3 emissions available for this company. I couldn't find anything. And with Adidas, almost 6,000 tons of CO2 in Scope 3 emissions. And down below it says, as a summary, basically Nike has ambitious goals, but at the moment they do not report. Then if you actually Google and look at what does Nike report. Nike does actually report their CO2 emissions. They do report their CO2 emissions in Scope 1, Scope 2, Scope 3. And the question is, why did the AI not find it? And it's quite simple. Nike has a PDF file. Nike has a PDF file where they collect all their sustainability data, upload the file, and then the user manually can find the file, Control F, usually as reporting used to work, find the relevant data, and then use that data. Adidas has an HTML annual report, and in the annual report there's also the emissions data. And that basically shows you that not only do you have to collect the data, you have to provide the data in a way that can be used by the stakeholders that you want to read the report. Just some self-promotion here. We did a preliminary study in summer 2025 of FAX DAX 40 companies, big German companies, of how ChatGPT actually accessed their corporate reporting websites. And we saw that within 1 month, there were 82,000 hits by ChatGPT users manually asking a question, as I did just now, and 54,000 by bots basically scraping data. And that's a number, I can tell you from experience, that we would never ever achieve for human users. We're lucky if we get 1,000, 2,000 users per month on a corporate website to actually gather information. So AI is probably the most important user of corporate reporting already now, and by tenfold, let's say, from human users. We're going to expand on that study because we found the results really, really interesting. If you're interested, there's going to be a lot of LinkedIn communication in the winter 2025-2026. We're going to expand by around 30 companies our study, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to get very interesting results on ESG report usage by AI again. So I'm going to give you some top insights to take away, let's say. AI is not yet a 360-degree solution for reporting. And automation of data collection processes is still the key priority. Anybody else who tells you different, I'm sorry, that is not my experience. And we have a lot of companies that we work with and I talk with regularly that also have a lot of tools telling them, okay, we're going to reduce your workload by 90%. At the moment, it's not possible because, fun fact, even a lot of German corporate companies, if they describe you their data landscape and how they basically come from the, let's say, energy data within a plant somewhere in France, and then how does it get into the report? At some point, every single company, there's going to be somebody manually copy and pasting from one system into the next. There is no reporting process up to now where everything's automated. You click on a button and then you get the results. You might get certain topics. I mean, energy is a bad example. Energy is actually one of the most advanced topics, let's say, where there's a lot of automation processes. But even HR topics, there's probably within large companies 3 or 4 different tools that are used to collect HR data. Some of them collect the same data with a different result. And then you ask yourself, how does that happen? And it's been a topic for a long time now, and still we haven't solved it. So it's the key issue is basically getting end-to-end automation, and that is not necessarily something that AI can help with, but we can. Then AI can basically increase the value of sustainability reports. So you have the report, you collected the data, and then the question is, so what? What are we going to do with it? And that is the most important value, actually, of sustainability reporting, is that you can make database decisions. And somebody who usually doesn't have anything to do with ESG or with sustainability within the company is actually going to read it and form an opinion, make a decision, and basically get people to invest time or money and resources into change. As I said earlier, AI is the most active user and disseminator of ESG information already. So make your report AI ready. I think that's the main point that you should go back to your company and say, if we're doing reporting, then we have to figure out a way that is actually being read by AI, because as we've seen before, AI does hallucinate, and AI does, if it doesn't find information from your company, it's going to use a different data source. It's going to plug in numbers from a wrong year into the 2024, and you have no authority over your own data. And that is the key for being credible within the next years to come, is that you take charge of your information, of your data, and you're the prime information source. And as I said before, HTML before PDFs. So HTML reports are 2.3 times better than PDFs, are being read better, being structured better, and basically PDF only reports lead to 56% more external sources in AI responses. So as I just said, if the AI doesn't find the information on your website because it's hidden in a PDF somewhere as a download, it's going to go somewhere else, and you don't have any charge of where it's going to go. If you have any more points you would like to discuss, especially on ESG reporting, but anything ESG related, feel free to contact me afterwards, or trust me that that is my LinkedIn profile and not something else with a QR code. Take a photo, and let's connect on LinkedIn, I'd say. Thank you very much for your time. And as I said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Thank you.
Sebastian, thank you so much. Are there any questions from the audience to Sebastian?